DIYers, what's going on? Mike Boards with the Mike Boards channel. Thank you for watching. Hey, we're talking jet skis today, and in the event that your jet ski is not accelerating the way it should, we are going to talk about the fuel system and hopefully give you a better understanding of the entire fuel system in your jet ski, or in our case, a Sea-Doo, and a familiarization of the fuel control module. Let's get started. DIYers, here we are at the Workstation, Mom and Dad's jet ski in-house. This is a 2003 Sea-Doo GTX direct injection. And we are going to be doing a bunch of DIY repair videos to it this winter. And again, in the event that you are lacking acceleration on your jet ski, we're going to talk about some common causes. What we'll do is remove the seats. And coming to the back, I want to point something out real quick. There is our rear latch for our aft seat. And if you listen, you don't hear any screeching or screaming or any unfriendly sounds. And that is because we have properly lubricated our latches. And down below in the comment section, as well as description section, will be a link on how to do that. In addition, well, if you don't lubricate them over the years, they're going to be very stiff and, unfortunately, break. And we have a link down below on how to replace a latch. We've got one under here and up top on our storage compartment. In addition, down below, we've got a step-by-step video on how to replace this little spring-loaded storage compartment right there. Let's go and remove our seats. At this point, seats are removed and resting carefully, as shown there. And before we go inside the hull, I do want to come up to our storage compartment again, lubricate your latch. You don't hear any screeching or very unfriendly sounds. And the latch that we have in the replacement video is this latch. So again, definitely check that out in the event that you have a broken latch. And coming inside here is a panel. And when you remove that panel, you can actually get much better access to the internal fuel control module. But before we go inside the hull, this right here is our fuel cap. Counterclockwise, remove it. Fuel goes inside there and down the hose and inside the fuel tank. And coming inside, there's our battery, and there is our large fuel tank. And to the right of that, you can see our oil tank. And what I want to do is come all the way inside here to the back side. Real quick, that big hose is the fuel filler that feeds all the way up to that hole that we just took the cap off of to put fuel in it. And it goes inside and secures to the top portion of the tank as shown here. And that's where all the fuel goes and hangs out. However, coming to the back side is our fuel control module, and I may need to switch to the opposite side, come back here. There's a better view of the top portion of the fuel control module. You can see an electrical connection point, you can see a bunch of nuts and threaded studs sticking up, and by removing everything, you can actually pull that entire fuel control module up and out of the tank, where you can then gain access to your fuel pump. And DIYers, it's unlikely because the OEM fuel pumps last a great long time and hardly ever fail. However, the more people we talk to, usually after about 10 to 12, maybe 13, 14 years, well, they reach a point where their fuel pump needs to be replaced. And coming to the right and back to the left, you can see the actual fuel lines that feed out from the front portion of the hull and back to our distributor and fuel injection system as shown there. And DIYers, I will come back here. You've got your fuel injectors, and all you have to do to remove this little electrical connection is push that little pin in and pull the electrical connection up and out. And inside there is your, again, fuel injector. And take a look at the electrical connections. Make sure that they are clean and not corroded or damp in any way, because we all know what water and corrosion will do to electrical connections or electrical systems. Not good. I'll go ahead and push this back in place until it clicks and is locked. And in our case, we have a 2-stroke, 2 fuel injector setup here. And this whole part right here is about $375 in our case. Yours might be cheaper, yours might be more expensive. However, for ours, that's the price. And over time, well, unfortunately, these get clogged up with debris inside the fuel, or if you've got contaminated or dirty fuel, well, once the fuel makes it inside here, it might actually clog up the injectors, and you are going to lack serious acceleration because of that. So I wanted to talk about that. Coming to the back side, back to the rear. And while we're back here, there is our electrical box. The 2 blue wires feed up to our spark plugs. And the 2 red ones, well, one goes all the way up to your battery as shown there, while the other one feeds to the bottom portion of our engine to the starter. So I wanted to show you that. And now onto our vacuum system. DIYers, in the event that you are lacking acceleration in your jet ski, your vacuum system plays a massive role in that. So take a few moments and check out your solenoid as shown here. In our case, ours is green. Yours might be a different color. And take a look at all the vacuum lines feeding off your solenoid. If they're not on there and secured in a tight manner, or any of the lines are cracked or leaking, you are going to lack acceleration significantly. Ask us how we know. In addition, electrical connection point, make sure that is firmly secured to your solenoid, and up here is a check valve. And in the event that that clogs up or fails and allows two-way flow as opposed to one-way flow, bye-bye acceleration. You will need to get those fixed. And for your convenience, down below in the comment section as well as the description section, we have links on how to replace both the solenoid as well as the check valve. So definitely check those out if that is what you are running into. And from here, let's hop over to the workbench. I want to show you something. As we make our way to the workbench, DIYers, we have been busy replacing a whole bunch of parts on the jet ski. We've got 2 brand new ignition coils already installed. Our old starter is in here, the new one's installed. And old spark plug wires. And we've got new wires and plugs installed. And this little start-stop cap is actually what goes on this little start-stop push button and wire harness. And in the event that you ever run into starting issues, well, DIYers, you might have a worn out little push button. And we've got a link down below as well on how to fix that. And here's what we always recommend. Anytime you're working on your jet ski or boat, always reference your exact serial number service manual to ensure that you're doing everything properly and to manufacturer specifications. However, here is the engine and the fuel control module that I was just showing you that's on the top portion and bolts in place right here on the tank. And right there, number 24, that is your fuel pump, or our fuel pump for that matter. And here's that hose that I showed you that goes all the way up to the fuel cap, and our direct injection system right here, and distributor and injectors. So I wanted to show you that. However, let's hop on the computer because I want to talk about this diagram in better detail and the names and parts. Alright DIYers, we are on the computer now, and all I wanted to do is show you a close-up view or a better view of the entire fuel control module as you see right here, and the additional parts that work in lieu with the fuel control module to help manage the fuel as it comes into the system as you pour it into your fuel filler neck, and it makes its way down to the tank and continues its journey all the way to the point where it gets burned off. And right down here, number 24, that is your fuel pump, and down here, number 73, that is your fuel filter. And depending on your year, make, and model, will depend on the exact placement of your fuel filter. It might be at the very bottom of your pump, it might be at the very top, or it might be somewhere else in the fuel control module. Again, this is your entire fuel control module. And that goes inside, as we were seeing, to the top portion of your fuel tank and is secured in place with all of those bolts. And here's the fuel filler neck as shown here. I'll zoom this out. And additional parts, there's your cap, and here's your engine. And as your fuel comes in down to the filler neck into the tank, makes its way up to the pump through the fuel control module, it is then sent all the way out through the fuel hoses or lines and makes its way to the distributor, where the air regulator and fuel regulator, as well as your fuel injectors, which are up here, again, all work together to help manage and flow the fuel from the point that it enters all the way to the engine, where it helps run your engine and then is burned off. So again, I just wanted to show you that. Here again is a close-up view of the entire distributor and regulators. Again, air and fuel. And you've got one fuel line coming in of the distributor, and you've got an air hose right here that goes down to the air pump. And again, there is the engine, and there's that hose I was talking about, comes out of your distributor, feeds down to your air pump. So again, DIYers, I just wanted to show you that. Alright DIYers, back to the jet ski, and before we wrap this video up, we are going to close everything back up and put the seats back on. However, real quick, one last item. In the event that you have not replaced your spark plugs or wires in the last 3 to 5 years, well, I recommend changing those, because we all know what happens when you experience old and burnt out spark plugs and wires. Your engine bogs down and begins misfiring. And that is not what you want, especially when you're out having fun on the water. And we also have a link down below that changes the wires feeding all the way inside here where your ignition coils are, and onto the top block portion of the engine and spark plugs. In addition, in that video, we show how to properly gap your plugs, so definitely check that out. And there it is, seats are back secured. Here is our next project. Look at this thing, our little step that we put our foot on and grab a hold of up here and pull ourselves up on the jet ski. Look at that. This is the original pad or cover slash sleeve. Dry, ripped, begging for replacement. Here's our brand new OEM sleeve or cover. And we're just shy of installing that. We're excited about that. And DIYers, that's it. Again, we hope the video helped. Hey, do us a favor, below the video, you will see that thumbs up icon. Click on that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely ring your YouTube bell. That would be very helpful to us. We would really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching. And that little wire harness or push button is on the back side of this that I showed you earlier on the workbench.